Gotogate is an absolute and utter nightmare. Stay away from them. I hope you listen to my story because it shows you how bad this company is, how they treat their clients, and how poorly their customer service is. I have no doubt that I've lost at least $1,600, and I have very little chance of getting it back from them. And I just recommend people to stay away. They're no good. I guess from a background perspective, I have a partner in Vietnam, and we've been desperately trying to see each other. So in late November, Vietnam published on a online news portal that they were going to open from the 1st of January to international travel. And so my partner and I discussed coming over sort of pretty much from January onwards. We actually settled on the 1st of February, which is Chinese New Year, and it's a big thing over there. So, and I have proof of that fact. I have copies of their publication. I have copies of photos of a plane arriving with Korean visitors. And so I then started looking for flights. Now, I went through Skyscanner to find the flights, and I found a flight package that was from Gotogate, and that was to get me from Australia to Vietnam, via Singapore, via Bangkok, and then finally to Ho Chi Minh. So I booked those flights, and everything was fantastic at that point in time. I got confirmation of the flights and got a booking references and so on and so forth. I applied for a visa to Vietnam, and it went a bit funny that we weren't getting any information back. My partner was trying to get info from inside Vietnam, and I was trying within Australia. What transpired is that they opened their borders, they allowed people to come in, and they got an influx of Omicron, COVID-19. So they quickly shut the borders again. And so when I finally got notification back from the Vietnamese government, they said, sorry, we've had to temporarily close our borders again, and we can't give you a visa to visit Vietnam. That was around the 13th and 14th of January. So I immediately wrote to Gotogate on an email. I also rang their telephone number that's on their website. When I rang the number, I couldn't get through. I probably tried about 6 times, and I finally got through. And an Indian gentleman had a chat with me and looked up the information. The upshot of that conversation was that he said that Gotogate could not do anything until such time as I cancelled the back-end flights. The back-end flights were from an airline called Scoot, which I understand is an affiliated airline under the Singapore Airlines banner. But it's a cheap airline. And I said to the guy, I said, that doesn't sound right. I shouldn't have to do cancellation. And he actually got quite irate with me and basically hung up. So I then tried to ring back again, and over the course of a week, I probably rang them 30 times, and the phone number would just disconnect immediately. So I then emailed them with no answer. And it was around about that time that I found your site. And I actually read somebody else's experience. And then somebody had a list of email addresses and said, send it to every one of these people. So I did. And I got a couple of strange emails back that didn't make sense. I got a couple of acknowledgements, but nothing concrete from anybody. My flights were to leave on the 28th of January. On the 26th of January, I got an email. So 2 days before the flight was leaving, I got an email from them saying that if I wanted to cancel it, I had to pay $390 to Singapore, $100 to them. That was for the first leg. Then another $30 for the second leg. And then they still kept on saying, and you've got to do the last leg. And I thought, this is weird. And so being a frequent flyer, I have a Singapore Airlines frequent flyer. So I wrote to them and said, I need confirmation that this 390 is correct. And I wrote back to Gotogate and got confirmation that they'd received the email. But I had nobody contact me. I didn't get any response from anybody until the 3rd of February, which was like 5 days after the flight left. At that time, I got a phone call from them. Just let me step back. I actually made contact with Scoot Airlines. I rang their call centre. I had a lengthy discussion with Scoot Airlines. And at the end of it, they said, no, you can't do that. You have to go through the agent. And in my case, it was Gotogate. She said, we can't do anything for you. You have to go to Gotogate. And because I wasn't getting any answers, I was sending emails nearly every day to these people. On the 3rd of February, I got a phone call from Gotogate telling me that in between that, I'd written to them and said, I want the flights, but obviously I can't go now because you haven't replied to me. I want the dates to be shifted so that I can use them in the future. They rang me on the 3rd of February, 5 days after the flight had left, and said, yep, we can move them. It'll cost you $550 to move it. That's one leg. And they still kept on saying I had to change the Scoot Airlines. And I said, and they wanted the money there and then while I was talking to them. I said, well, I'm not doing that because I don't believe you. And the guy, again, hung up on me. So, again, I wrote to Singapore Airlines. I then contacted Scoot, and the lady said, if you go to our website, you can log on with your name and the booking reference. So I found those in the emails. I logged on and found my flights and moved them. So the back-end flights now are the 3rd of May, and it cost me a total of $46 because I had to apply for new seats. So given that I could do that for next to nothing, I question whether they were trying to rob me of all of this money again. So I didn't hear from them again for another 2 weeks. And then finally they rang again. And this time the girl said, yeah, okay, we can cancel it. And I said, oh, all right. And then she got online. She said, oh, no, we can't cancel it because you've changed the scoot flights. I said, you told me to change the scoot flights. You told me that you would not do anything until I did that. She then turned around and said, all right, let me see if I can do a partial cancellation of the 2 flights that remained. And she went away for about 5 minutes and she came back. She said, no, the system won't allow me because you've already moved the scoot flights. I can't do anything. And I said, well, what am I supposed to do? In all of this, I took out insurance, which I thought was the best insurance that they offered. I said, well, I want that cancelled too. Oh, well, no, because you've got the scoot flights, you'll still use that insurance. And I said, well, no, I can't get there. And, they, again, went very vague on me. So at the upshot of that, the girl said, well, I can't cancel it. I'll send you the booking reference. You log on to Singapore Airlines and you see if you can do something. Now, by this stage, it was a good 2 weeks into February. The flight left on the 28th of January. So we discussed about the insurance. We discussed about cancelling the flight from Singapore to Bangkok and Bangkok to Ho Chi Minh. And all they did in their email back to me was give me the first leg. Nothing about the insurance, nothing about the other flight, just the first leg. So I got that and I logged on to the Singapore Airlines flight. I put in those references, my surname, and was told that the booking did not exist. And then when I tried it again, making sure I'd got it right, it actually come up and said that these flights have either been cancelled or they've flown, and there's nothing we can do about it. And I thought, well, I'm buggered. There's nothing I can do, and they weren't providing any information to me. So I sent them an email, and I have yet to get an email back. So basically, I've lost about $1,600. They haven't refunded anything. They ignore my emails. I don't get any responses. And I continue to send emails to everybody. The interesting thing is one of our national news broadcasters last week had a story about a lady who had booked through another agent, had flown to Ireland, had decided because of COVID, nobody was going around anywhere. She decided that she would fly business class. She got to Ireland, had a great time, went to the airport to get her return flight back to Australia, and the airline said, "Oh no, we don't have a ticket for you." She showed them the paperwork, and they said, "Well, no, the company hasn't paid." The company happened to be the parent company of Gotogate. So the parent company is called eTraveli. And so the company that she went through was owned by this company as well. So I don't believe that I'm an isolated case. I think there's a lot of people that have been screwed by this organisation. And the worst thing is that they go around in a circle. So what they come back to you with is stuff they've already discussed, and there is no resolution to my problem or from what I've read, anybody else's problem. So I think it's just a stalling tactic. given that Singapore Airlines don't have the reference anymore, I suspect that the flights are gone. I suspect that they've pocketed the money. And again, I've got an insurance policy that I can't use, and they won't even refund that back to me. The middle flights from Singapore to Bangkok to Ho Chi Minh, they told me was going to be $27 to cancel. I said, yep, okay, go ahead. I've given them all the go-ahead to do all of this stuff, and nothing has transpired. I've got no money back. I've got no email to say they've done X, Y, and Z. I just get the same email about you have to pay this, you have to pay that for us to do it, which I don't believe. Singapore Airlines may have a policy that says you've got to pay some money. Certainly the middle one doesn't. And they told me it was only $27, I think, to cancel it. But they still haven't done that. So given that all of those flights have gone, and we're now 2/3 of the way through February, I don't believe I've got any chance of getting my money back. And I think they have robbed a lot of other people as well. So I'm writing to what's called the ACCC in Australia, which is the Australian Consumer Commission. And I'm going to make a submission to them about what these people have done. But I hate to say it, but I'm resigned that I'm not going to get a cent back from them. So I'm not, other than going to the ACCC, I don't know what more I can do. The other really interesting thing is that I started copying in Sky the searching Sky Scanner, because I went through them to find the Gotogate flights. And they were actually really good. I have to say, they were really good. They were responsive. They were saying they were going to get in contact with Gotogate. And so I kept on contacting them or copying them into the emails. They wrote back to me and said, we've been in contact with Gotogate, and Gotogate says that you're lying, that you didn't go through Skyscanner, and that there was nothing they could do. I wrote back to them and said, thank you for at least trying. I said, Gotogate are lying to you, and I copied them in my search and my flight alert email that proved I was using Skyscanner to find the flights. But again, I haven't heard anything back. So, it's the 22nd of February, and I have very little chance of getting this money back. So I would love to make sure that other people are warned about this company and about the parent company, because I think they are doing it in other sites that they run, not just Gotogate. And people need to be really careful with this company. There were a couple of things. One was that I literally tried to ring them 30 times. And every time that I tried to ring, I would get a disconnected, and yet the telephone is on their website. When I rang it wouldn't even ring. It would come with a message to say disconnect. So I couldn't talk to anybody. The second thing was that they weren't answering me. It was like hitting a brick wall. My emails were going unanswered. And then the final straw was that when they told me that because I had shifted the return flights from Ho Chi Minh to Singapore, Singapore to Australia, when I had done that, they couldn't do anything. And yet all of their documentation, all of their email told me I had to do that. And then they turned around and said, yeah, no, we can't do anything because you've done that. And I wanted to kill somebody.